So today we're going to be having a continuation lesson as we speak on calculated columns. But what I want you to understand is, first, I want to reiterate, a calculated column can only be used, the calculated column can only be used in the table in which it was created. The calculated column can only be used in the table in which it was created. A measure can be used throughout the entire report. A measure can be used throughout the entire report. Now, what does that mean? Well, why am I going over that again if I hit that nail on the head so many times in the previous lesson when we were speaking on calculated columns? The reason being is, in this lesson, we are going to be creating columns, not just one column, multiple columns. But the columns that we're going to be creating are going to be for a table. And remember, tables can be used throughout the report. So if you create a table, the table can be used throughout the report. If you create columns within a table, the table itself can be used throughout the report. But if you only create a column for a specific table, it can only be used for that particular table. The table that we're creating today is going to be a calendar table. We are going to create a calendar table. The reason why we want to create a calendar table is because oftentimes we will find that we have tables that have date columns in them. And we want to be able to slice the table by date, by time frames, by year, by quarter, by month, by week, by day, even by hour, and maybe even by minute sometimes. So in order to be able to do that, we have to have a related calendar table. We have to have a calendar table that has a relationship with the other dates within that particular table, or within the report. And that's why we would create a calendar table. Many times you may be given a calendar table. You may already have it, but if you don't have a calendar table, today's lesson is going to be primary in how you create that table. We're going to create several columns. And you say, well, why do I need so many columns in a calendar table? Well, you're going to need, you may need the actual date, or you may want to slice it by year. You may want to slice it by quarter. You may want to slice it by the particular week or the particular day, or whether it's a weekday or a weekend. You may want to slice it by hour or by minute, even by seconds even. We don't get that deep into, in this class, as regards to slicing by minute and by second, but definitely you will be able to slice by hour, and no doubt you'll be able to slice by year, quarter, week, year, quarter, month, and week, and by days. So we're going to jump right into here, and as you can see, I have my table view already set. We're going to be using the same table with the same report that we used to create the calculated columns previously. So we're going to use the same. We're going to use the same table. We're going to use the same the same tables within the report that we used to create the calculated columns. Now we're going to create a table. And so I'm in the table view. I'm going to come over to home. As you can see, our ribbons are consistent as to what we have been working on previously. We're going to go to table tools. Table tools is going to allow us to create a table. And of course, new table is what's going to allow us to create a new table. The table we're going to create is going to be called calendar. So I'm just going to type calendar so that we know that that's going to be the name of the new table. And calendar is going to equal calendar ITO. You can use regular calendar, but we're not going to go over the regular calendar right now. We're going to use calendar ITO. The reason why we're going to use calendar ITO is because what calendar ITO does is, if you look here in this particular table that we just created, it only has one column and it's called date. Calendar ITO went to all the tables that we have in this particular report, and it found all of the tables it found all of the columns that have dates in them. And then it said, hey, the first date that appears within all calendars within this report started on January 1st, 1951. And then it says the last date that is in the calendars within the tables within this report completed, or the last date was 12/31/2014. So from 1951 to 2014 are all the dates. And calendar ITO went in and it grabbed it, and it automatically created a table for us. And the table that is created for us has only one column, and that column is called date. If you're interested in joining our free community, I encourage you to scan the QR code, and join our free Power BI webinar. If you're interested in learning more about Power BI, you got some things you want to know, just having a community to be around is definitely a great place to be. We have a lot of information, a lot of insights, a lot of individuals that were just like you that are now movers and shakers in the Power BI community. I encourage you again to join our free community, scan the QR code, and join our free community, and we look forward to seeing you win next Thursday. Now, if I come back over to home, well, when I look here, I see that I've got date and I have time. I have month, day, year, and hour, minute, AM, or PM. Given that we're going to be dealing with a calendar table, as I said before, you will be able to, once you see here, you will be able to slice by hour and by minute, but we're not going to do so in this particular table. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the date column, and we see that the data type is date time. It's date time because we have a date and a time. So what we are going to do is we're going to change this just to be date. So we're just going to come up to the data type. We're going to drop down, and where it has date time, we're just going to select date. And now we see we have the day, the month, the year, the day of the week, the month, the day of the month, and the year. It's all included in our date. Another thing to pay specific attention to is the name of the column of this table. Again, we have a table. It only has one column, and the name of this column is date. Everything is going to be referenced to this particular column. So whatever the column name you decide to go with, if you decide to keep the column name as date, that's fine. If you wanted to change it to something else, that's fine too. But just understand that all the formatting that we're going to be doing is going to be off of the name of this column being date. So the first thing we want to do is we want to grab the year. We want to grab the year out of this column, and we're going to reformat it by saying add columns. So this is where we're saying we're adding a column like we did before in calculated columns, but rather than putting new column, we're saying add column. The add column is what we can use for a calendar. Add columns, calendar auto, comma, shift enter, and the name of the column is going to be called year. So it's going to be year, comma, year, which is a function, and that function is going to pull the year out of the date. So it's going to be year, parentheses, date, and that should give us a year. So there we go. Now we have year. We have a new column called year. I'm going to go down again, and now I want to pull out the month number, the number of the month. So I'm going to say month, and basically here I'm just giving it a name. This name could be any name we want to call it. I want to call it month number or month no. Uh-oh, I put that in too many places that it didn't supposed to be, sorry. Month, no, in parentheses, and comma, I'm gonna call it month. Oh, I gotta put a comma after that date. There we go, month. And now month is going to be a function of the calendar table, and it's looking for the column that we're looking for. It's going to be called date. And again, we just hit enter, and now we get the month numbers. So we have May 1st, 1951. That month number is 5. 6 would be June, 1 would be January, and so on. We all understand that. Now we are going to do comma, shift enter, and we are going to find the month name. Month comma, and again, we are going to use the month function of the date. And we are going to hit enter. And now that gave us the month name again. That's not what we want to do. When we want to find the name, we've got to format the name. So we're going to type format. We want to format the date. And what we're looking for when we format the date is the name of the month. Now I want you to pay specific attention here. Let's see. Let's see. What do we just do here? I'm just gonna go grab it and copy it from over here rather than trying to type it. I can be all day trying to figure out what the problem is. Control C, Control V. There we go. So I said format, and the format I'm using again is the date column. And now you see we have the month name, which is, we have the entire month name. And the reason why we have the entire month name is because we used M, which is 4 M's. If we had to use 3 M's, it would have gave us the abbreviation, and we would have the abbreviation to 3 letters of the month, which September would have been SEP, October would have been OCT, November would have been NOV, December DEC, and so on. That's if we had to use the M. Matter of fact, let me just go to take that M out, and now you'll see that the month name is a 3-letter month, is the abbreviation rather than the entire month name. I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna place that M back in here, and now we will see that the name of the month will be the whole name of the month. The next thing we're going to find is going to be the quarter. What quarter are we in? Definitely when you're working with finance or accounting individuals, you will find that they like to know the quarter. Format, date, didn't put a parentheses in there and it didn't give me one. I don't know why it didn't give me one. Format, date, and we've got to have format, date, and QQ. Control C. Let's just place this in here so that we don't spend all day trying to figure out what the problem is. Now we've got QQ. Let's take this comma out because we don't have anything after it. You place a comma if you have something coming after it. We don't have anything after. So then we have QQ. Now we're showing QQ is Q4. So QQ / QQ in parentheses is giving us Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Now we want to get the year. Control C. Or the year month. We already have the year, but we want to show the year and the month. Control V. And I got a comma that doesn't have anything after it yet, so we got to take the comma out. So now we've got the year month is 1951. The year is 1951-10. So we have four Y's and we have 2 M's, which gives us the month number, and it gives us the year, the 4-digit year, and the 2-digit month. Control C, Control V. And what we're looking for here is the weekday number. It's the weekday number. Now, what does this really mean? It's not necessarily tricky, but it's kind of funny. So there's 2 different schemes that we can use for the weekday number. Monday could be 1, Tuesday could be 2, Wednesday could be 3, Sunday could be 1, Monday could be 2, Wednesday, Sunday could be 1, Monday could be 2, and Tuesday could be 3, and so on. Well, it's either going to be 1, it's going to be Sunday, and 2 is going to be Monday, which means if it is a 1, the weekday will start on Sunday. If it is a 2, the weekday will start on Monday. So we have here, weekday number is 3, and it's a Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that means that we use 2 in our weekday format. And here we have it here. We have weekday, and was the function for date, and we're looking for the weekday, but we want to know if it's going to start on a Monday or a Tuesday. With us having comma 2, that tells us that it starts on a Monday rather than on a Sunday. Again, I think I said Monday or Tuesday, but that it starts on a Monday. If the weekday starts with 1, then Sunday would be the first day of the week. If the weekday starts with 2, then Monday will be the first day of the week. Hope that's not too confusing for you. And we're going to hit comma, and the last thing we're going to find is the actual weekday. The actual weekday. Control V. Now, just as we did with the month, if you have 4 digits, if you have four letters, it's going to be the full name of the weekday. If it's 3 letters, it's the abbreviated weekday. So we have 4 DDD, we have 3 DDD, which means the weekdays, we're looking at the abbreviations, which is we see here, we have Wednesday, WED. Now, if I just add a D here and hit enter, we're going to see that now we have Wednesday is all spelled out. So just as with the month, if it's 4 M's, it's going to be the full month name spelled out. If it's 3 M's, it's the month abbreviation. If it's the weekday, if it's 4 D's, it's going to be the complete spelling of the weekday. If it is 3 D's, it's going to be the abbreviated weekday. I'm going to take 1 D out because we already have 4 M's in for the month. That gave you that example. And then the 3 D's for the days will give you a different example of an abbreviation or the complete spelling. Now, the one good thing about a calendar table is when you create this calendar table here, you can take this same format and you can rebuild it. You can use the same format in your calendar table, in your any report you have, any report that you create. The only thing you have to remember is the name of the column that started the calendar table, which is date. Whatever that name is, whatever the name of your original column, that's what has to be the name of all of the date, all of the names inside of your format, inside of your calendar formats. Now, the other thing is the only way to make this work is you have to build your relationships. You've got to build your relationships inside your data model. So you already know how to create a data model. This table was created as we built it out in this report. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to say that we want this date to be related to the sales order header date. Click save, and we see that now it is related there. So now we'll be able to build slicers out for the sales order header date. There are going to be some dates in here. There's some of the dates in here are not going to be able to add to your calendar table, but many of them will. Let's try to add another date to another table, which use customer, and we are going to tie it to the modified date. And that answer is no, you're not able to do so. And that's probably because we could look deeper into this at a later time, but it's probably because this calendar table is already associated with the sales order header. And the sales order header is associated with the sales customer, which it'll pretty much start creating a circular loop if we have the calendar tied to too many dates that are already associated with one another. So it could come down to us playing with just a little bit to see, which which table makes the most sense for it to be tied to. I'm going to delete the relationship from the sales order header, and I am going to move the relationship to the sales customer back to the modified date. Let's see if that will work. Now that one will work. Let's see, we know it won't. We can't do sales order header and sales customer all at the same time. Let's see if we can do modified date and sales territory modified date. Let's see how that would work. That won't work either, and that's okay. Now we're getting the idea that we can play around with the calendar until we get the dates that we wanted to work with. And we probably still won't get the full idea of which dates we really need this to be tied to until we start building out visualizations in the report view. But what we're trying to get here is just the understanding of how to build the relationships. And as we see here, we are able to build a relationship with calendar and sales order detail, and with calendar and sales customer. And I'm sure we'll be able to do it with calendar and production.product, because there is not a table that production.product is tied to as of yet. So we're going to tie it to modified date. I'm sure that that's going to work, and it does. So, we'll just make our star schema just a little bit prettier. So that let's see. We'll make our star schema just a little bit prettier, so that we can see that the calendar is almost at the center of the star. But at the end of the day, what we wanted to see here was that what we're doing is tying the building our relationships from the calendar table to the other tables here in the report. So with that said, we are done with building out a calendar table, and I hope you learned something. Shoot me a thumbs up. If you got any questions, let me know. Hit me up inside the group portal, the class portal, and we can get all of those questions answered. So once again, thank you for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next class.